Good afternoon. All right, thank you. That sounds much better. My name is Margaret Mbuthi. I'm a clinical psychologist. Anyone who has an idea what that means? Or what is that? Anyone who is a clinical psychologist and what they do? Haya, sawa. Hiyo tunaweka kwa parking lot. Naona hakuna mtu anajua. And then the other thing is, with me, you don't have a choice. You just have to speak up, by the way, yeah? You just have to talk to me. Our topic is about drug and substance abuse and peer influence. And I'll start by giving definitions, just so that we make sure we have the correct definition of different terms that I know we have used and different terms that I know we have had. And the first definition is the definition of a drug. And I'm sure Dr. Mwangi would give us a better definition, and even Dr. Marion, because they are in the field. But when we talk about a drug, what are we talking about? It's any form of medicine. Let me explain it, then you write it down in your own words. When you're talking about drugs, and we are talking about especially in the context of drug abuse. And I'm not talking about a drug here as heroin. I'm talking about drug in general. In this definition, it is any medicine or any substance such that when it is taken or when it is ingested into the body, it alters the body's functioning. And remember the definition of drug. It's not the illegal drug. It is any drug, whether a prescription drug by a doctor or not. What does it do? It alters the body's functioning. So, for example, if you had, let's say malaria or something, you were sick, and the doctor prescribed something, and you went to the chemist and you bought something. Whatever the drug that you bought, when you take it, it alters in a certain way. The question about the drug is, what were the reasons that you were taking that drug? And I know, for example, a lot of the young people today are using what we call the prescription or the drugs that are given by the doctors, especially like the common drugs for cold or for a homa or flu, but for different reasons. Not because you have a flu or not because you're suffering from a cold, but you're taking them for different reasons. So in essence, when you're talking about the prescription drugs themselves, there is nothing wrong about a prescription drug. What is wrong and what is bad about it is what are the reasons you're taking it for. So if you're not taking it because you're unwell, then you're talking about drug misuse. So then the other common term we hear a lot is substance, because we talk about drug and substance abuse. And when you're talking about substance, we are saying it is a patent use of a drug in which, let me just read it, then we write it down in our own words the way we understand it. In which the user consumes the substance in amounts or with the methods which are harmful to themselves or others, and is a form of substance-related disorder. So meaning what? You consume a substance in amounts that are excess, that is one thing, or that are less. And the way in which you consume. And whatever it is that you're consuming is harmful to yourself. And by extension, it also becomes harmful to other people. So let's talk about alcohol, for example. How many of us here do Holy Communion in church? How many are communicants in church? Okay, so does your church give you the little wine? with a cup. So your churches don't give you the little wine in a cup. Because then if you're an Anglican, I know they give you the little wine in a cup. And if you're Presbyterian, they give you the little wine in a cup, isn't it? I know the Catholics will not do that. Okay, so let me ask, that little wine that you're given in the small cup, is it harmful? It's wine. It is alcohol. Is it harmful? The one you're given during the Mass every Sunday, is it harmful? And I said, you know, you don't have a choice. You just have to talk to me. So I'm asking, is it harmful? Yeah? But it is wine. So if we were to take it to a chemist, it would still pass the test that it is alcoholic, isn't it? Because even some wines have a higher alcohol content than even the Tuskers. But sisemi mwende mutafute Tusker mukitoka hapa. Yeah? So is it harmful? Why isn't it harmful? Yeah? Because of the quantity, isn't it? And also, why else isn't it harmful? Yeah?
The reason we take it.
So, the reason.
Yeah.
What is the reason?
It symbolizes the blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
So
if you took a bottle in church, which still symbolizes the blood of Jesus, that would still be fine. It wouldn't. Okay, so why wouldn't it be fine? It's still taken in church, symbolizing Holy Communion, that you're partaking of the blood of Jesus, but you took it a whole bottle. So if you took a whole bottle, is there a problem with that? With the church wine? So we are talking about the amounts, isn't it? And anytime you talk about drugs, there are two things I want you to remember. The amount, that means the quantity, the frequency, and the way it is taken. And I know Group 1 will be helping us understand that. So then there is drug misuse. It refers to the use of a drug for purpose for which it was not intended. You take a Panadol, because there's a lot of abuse for Panadol. Yes, we know we take a Panadol or paracetamol when you have a headache or something. But in this particular case, you're not taking it because you have a headache. You're taking it for other reasons. So then that is what we call drug misuse. When you take it not for the intended use, and when you take it in quantities that are excess. And then we have abuse. What is abuse? What's the meaning? What's your understanding of abuse in general? What do you understand by abuse? Where are those sweets so that when people answer, they look like the motivation? Oh. What is abuse? Ama nianze kwa laini pale? Nianze kwa mabackbencher? Yes, what's abuse? Please speak up. It is kind of taking drugs to misuse. Okay, thank you. Your name? Maureen. Thank you, Maureen. Someone else, yes? It is taking the drug for the wrong purpose. What's your name? Yeah? Beryl, thank you. You hand your hand up. Can you say it again? Okay. And you see, we introduced something new. You're talking about lack of information. You're also talking about the issue of taking it for the wrong reasons. What's your name? David. Thank you very much. So when you're talking about abuse in the drug context point of view, we are basically talking about illegal drugs. That means what? There are drugs that are legal and there are drugs that are illegal. Okay, so what is an example of a legal drug? Let's start there. Yes, at the back. Panadol. What's your name? Alfred. Thank you. What is another example of a legal drug? Yes. Paracetamol and Panadol are one and the same, but thank you very much. Amoxil, which is an antibiotic. Thank you. Maramoja, which is a part of the paracetamol family. Yes. Brufen. Centrism. Augmenting. Okay, so what is an example of illegal drug? Wenye hawajasema. Bangi. Cocaine. Cat. Cat jina ingine. Mira. Madrax. Heroin. Cocaine. Shisha. Tobacco. Opium. What is opium? It is a class of drugs such as and you're doing very well. Opium is a general class or category of drugs. Daktari, opium such as an example? Morphine or heroin. It's an opium. Yes. You wanted to say something? Okay. So we have the legal and the illegal. Sawa. And when we take the legal drugs and use them for the wrong reasons, then we are talking about misuse. Are we together? Then the final term the second final term I want us to understand is the term withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal symptoms. What is withdrawal symptoms? When you take drugs or the substances for a period of time, when you stop taking them, your body, because it was used to being in a state where it has these drugs, your body begin to experience some unpleasant symptoms. Such as what? If you were taking bangi and you stopped taking bangi today, what are the effects? What is it that someone is likely to experience? Yes. Shaking, trembling, hallucinations. What are hallucinations? And you're perfectly right. But what are hallucinations? I want to hear what are hallucinations. Imaginations. Okay, now, let me talk about hallucinations very briefly. There are different types of hallucinations. There is the verbal hallucinations. And the verbal hallucinations, you hear voices in the head. You hear voices in your head. Like someone will be telling you, go and kill yourself, you're good for nothing. That kind of a thing. Those are verbal hallucinations. And then you have the visual hallucinations. Like people who are high on heroin or bangi and they stop, they'll be talking, and even alcohol, by the way, they'll be talking about seeing frogs and animals and people coming to eat them and beat them and those kind of things. Because they are visual, you see. And you can almost see the frogs and everything else. And then we have what you call the tactile hallucinations. You feel like you have things touching you, like insects that are crawling all over your body. And then we have the command hallucinations. The command hallucinations are the ones that tells you what to do. And a lot of the people who are going to commit suicide because of effects of drug, it's because they obey what you call the command hallucinations. They'll tell you fight. They'll tell you you're good for nothing. They'll be speaking, but in their speaking, in their auditory, when you're having the auditory hallucinations, they are also telling you what to do. Are we together? Okay. What are the other withdrawal symptoms? You lose your consciousness. Okay? Weakness, body weakness, yeah? headache. Uh-huh. I'm sure we'll finish the sweets in this lesson. Yes? Fits. Yes. Uh-huh. Depression. We will talk about depression. It's a big term. Yes, Maureen. Lack of appetite. I like that. Stress. Uh-huh. As a result. So, the withdrawal symptoms, in short, are those unpleasant experiences that the individual experiences at the stop or when they cease to take the drug or the substance that they were taking. And most often than not, they are painful and they are also unpleasant. And it is the hallucination, it is the withdrawal symptoms that most often than not get the person to go back to taking the drug or the substance so that you stop experiencing the painful and the unpleasant symptoms. Then the last term I want us to talk about is drug addiction. So what is addiction? Haya, wenye hawajainua mkono, unajua mimi nawaona. Wenye hawajasema, what is addiction? Before I point at you. Jitokeleze tu, yes. The act of getting used to something. I love that. The art of getting used to something, yes. Yeah, you guys are tough. You're using hard words. The state of being dependent on something. Kwa hii kona, what is addiction? Nawaona wenye hawasemi kitu. Yes, Gladys. That you cannot do without. And please note, the words we are using here is the state of being dependent on something. Then I've noticed when people want sweets, they answer questions. When you, yeah? Tomorrow we may need to have something better to motivate others. So when you're talking about addiction, yes, we are talking about you started to use this thing that you're using. Let's talk about marijuana. And remember, before you started, your body was normal, functioning in a normal way. The way our bodies are functioning right now. Because I know in this group, there is none of us is addicted to something. Then, the moment you begin to smoke marijuana, remember we said the drug alters your body's functioning. So you move your body from the normal functioning that it is right now to another normal way of functioning, a normal in quote and quote. So your body goes through that change and that transition. And your body becomes now normal when it has marijuana in the system. Now, because you have altered the way your body functions, and now for it to operate in a normal way, it has to have marijuana. So what happens? When the marijuana levels go down in your system, the body is not normal, and the body will ask, I need a bit more of what I am used to in order for me to get to the normal state. And then that's when you feel the urge to smoke again, so that the body gets to the normal. And then after a while, the levels go down and the body asks. It's like the way you're hungry, isn't it? When you eat, you're okay. Until after another couple of hours, and then you feel hungry again. And then you eat and you're okay. And then the cycle continues. And that's how our system, when it is altered under drugs, demands for drug. Now, when you cannot function normally under the influence of the drugs, when you really need more and more and more every so often, then that's when we describe you as someone who is addicted. Meaning you cannot survive and you cannot function without that drug or that substance. That is what addiction is. So when we are saying, and someone who is addicted will compulsively want whatever it is that they were using. And when you talk about compulsive here, it means I need it and I need it and I need it. Whether I want it or not, my body needs. And that's how people will get into the behaviors of compulsive drug-seeking behavior. I must do what I need to do in order for me to get it. And then, when you're talking about addiction, is because the moment you stop, then you experience the withdrawal symptoms that we were talking about. Are we together up to that point? Okay, so let's get to group 1 to tell us what did they come up with. Group 1, where is your spokesperson? Tell us the question and tell us what you were doing. Simama hapo.
Good afternoon. The question was that we mentioned the types of illegal drugs and how they are taken into our bodies. So the first answer is bang. It is taken through smoking. The second, cocaine. My group said sniffing. Heroin. The group says sniffing. Hard or mirror. You chew. Alcohol. You drink. Tobacco. Smoking. Glue. Sniffing. That is it.
Okay, let's appreciate them. Well, kuja hapa, we are teaching with you this one, this lesson. So what are the slang names for bangi that you know? Let's hear them. What are the slang names? Na najua hizi, I expect everyone to have their hand up. You know one, at least one, yes. Yeah? Ngwai, Ndovu, hata sijaisikia hiyo, marijuana, shada, ganja, kuna wimbo ganja farmer, tutatafuta hiyo, koro. Woo, okay, that's a new one, There was a hand there. Chuodho, I think I had that one, Dom. How do you spell that? Ndom. Ndom. Tire. Allah? Boza. Sammy, do you know these ones? I've never heard about them. Which other one? Yes. Is there any other? Yes. Sativa, cannabis. Any other? Weed. Okay. I think we need to write them down here, yeah? On a serious note, we need to write them down. I need to know those new ones, so that when they are talking about it. And when you're talking about the most common ones, then we said bangi. Bangi is the only way of using bangi smoking. Which other ways? Bangi injecting, not quite. Mixing with food. How else? How else do people chewing? Bangi, do people really chew? Your generation is chewing bangi. Mugatonyo horo. Okay. What? How else do people cook? Sniffing bangi. We are learning. How else do they cook? Cake, biscuits, make ugali, make tea, make soup. But nawacha niwaambie, I am not saying these things so that you go and practice. Anyway, you're not going back home after this. I am happy. I'm hoping by the time you get to close, you will have forgotten we said you can cook ugali with banging. Then we talked about cocaine. You talked about sniffing, heroin sniffing, miraa chewing. What is the other way of taking miraa? Eh? Sami, hakuna ingine? Do you know they are doing juice? Miraa juice. Si unasikia wanajua? Wewe tu ndio ujui. They are doing miraa juice these days. There's even someone actually selling it, but musitafte. And then you talked about alcohol. Of course, it's drinking. Tobacco is the only way of tobacco smoking. Which other way? What is that? Sniffing. And then glue. You're talking about sniffing. Madrax. How do you do it? Injection. Okay, so let's appreciate group 1 as I talk about these things. And let's appreciate him. Now, remember, when you talk about drug use, some methods are more lethal, or some methods are more fast than others. When you talk about routes of administration, the way you use it. So we have injecting, we have inhaling, we have ingestion, eating it. And then we have the patches that people put under the skin. I mean, they contact with the skin. Now, out of injecting, inhaling, ingestion, and contact, which is the fastest route? Hey, Sami woni mikono huku juu. Yes, at the back. Is injecting. Someone else. Which is the second? Inhaling. Daktari, between injection and inhaling, which is faster? Is it injection or is it inhaling that goes straight? Injection. Okay, so now, when you inject, when is it likely to travel faster? Are there different ways of injecting? Are there different ways of injecting? Or different parts of the body where you can inject and it will travel faster than others? When you inject through the veins. Because we have the vein and we have what you call the subcutaneous, which is, like the slightly under the muscles. And then you have the intramusculine, like the one they do on our back, on our butt, that takes a little longer. Now, because injecting travels fast, that is why you realize it is the most commonly used, but intravenous, through the veins. Now, what are the risks about this? Of course, one, you stand a very high chance of having your veins collapse. And two, that is where you have the challenge of the needle sharing and the syringe sharing. Three, a lot of those people who are going to get the drug in the powder form, they're not able to constitute it so well such that it doesn't have the particles. And it is those particles that block the veins. It is those particles that are likely to give you a heart attack than anything else. And then three, the water, or four, I don't know which one now, the water that they use to reconstitute, chances are that it is not clean water. Because again, remember, these people don't do it in their living rooms. They do it behind the scenes in some dingy, dark places, isn't it? So even the handling and everything else is also not very hygiene. In Kenya, we've had a problem where tuchange, wo utoe 50 bob, 50 bob, 50 bob, na me 50, na uyu 250, so we get that gram of heroin, whatever we want. And then sasa wewe ujidunge, then we will draw blood from you, and then now we also continue to dunga ourselves. And that's how a lot of them have passed on HIV and other things such as hepatitis, other viral things. Let me tell you, drug addiction will make you do things that you think are out of this world. But when the craving comes, it does not matter. You will do whatever you have to do to get there. So then we have the inhaling. Inhaling is also a very fast route, extremely fast. And immediately you inhale, where does it go direct? Yeah? It goes to the lungs, it goes to the brain. Let's hear. Biology. Upper. Where does it go first? The lungs, the brain. Si munafanya bio? Yeah. It goes to the heart. Someone says you inhale, it goes to the heart. Another one says the lungs. Another one says the brain. Where does it go to? Ebu, explain you.
I'm saying that I think that after inhaling, since the trachea is connected first of all to the lungs, the smoke will first of all go to the lungs where it affects the alveoli. The alveoli they'll dry up because they're used to the normal air oxygen getting into the lungs. So I think that after the collapsing of the alveoli, then it will affect the brain system.
What out of 10?
Where does oxygen go when we breathe in and out? Where does gas exchange happen in our body? Which part? You've all done biology. Sindio? Where do we have gaseous exchange? And then from there, where do you go? Where does I almost gave you the answer. Where does the oxygen circulate to? To there? Somebody said it there.
Someone said it here.
I think it's on.
Yeah, that the hand? The heart.
Yes. From the heart, where else? Where do we have the pituitary gland, which controls everything in your body? In there? So the oxygen circulates from your heart to your lungs, but it has to pass through your brain. Once you have these toxic drugs in your brain, what happens to your body? All your systems do what? They shut down. So in short, we are saying when you inhale these things, it's the faster route to shut down your system. Because from the heart, it circulates to the brain. The brain is where the pituitary gland is. All your activities are controlled from your brain. So you are basically just shutting down your system. You're breathing, you're doing everything because the brain controls our everything. Okay?
Thank you. And that is, and Dr. Yapeo, sweetie, yes. And that is why also the inhaling, because it gets to the brain very fast, that is what gives you a near instant high. You feel it and you feel the effect very, very fast because it also travels very, very fast. Now, what are the risks of inhaling? Of course, one, you're talking about the damage to the lungs, isn't it? You're talking about the damage to where else through the process of inhaling. If you inhale, there is the damage to the lungs, then there is damage to where else? To your heart, of course. I expected to hear the entire respiratory system, isn't it? And then the other thing even about that inhaling, as you inhale whatever the substance that you're inhaling, remember like our respiratory from the nose and all, going all the way down, especially for those who are going to be getting into the sniffing. We have the mucous membranes in our nose and the entire system. So as they sniff in, then whatever particles end up hitting the inside of the nose. And that is how they end up now causing the two lacerations or the two vidondas inside the nose. And that is why a lot of the people who sniff, you are likely to see them with a running nose almost all the time. Are we together? Then the ingestion is the slowest. Iyo ya kukula. Because it will take like what? About 30 to 45 minutes in order for you to experience the high. Because by the time you eat and then the food is what? Is digested and then it is being distributed to the rest of the body. That takes a much longer time. And it turns out it is one of the routes of administration that is least popular among drug users because it doesn't give them the instant high that they need. Sawa sawa. So let's move on. So when we are talking about drug abuse from a clinical point of view, even from a doctor point of view, then we will be talking about it ends up to, leading to a brain disorder. Why are we talking about the brain disorder? Because when you take the drug, remember we said it changes the functions, the way your body functions, and the functional changes, they get to the brain. And when they get to the brain, then if it is the different part of the brain, and we won't get there, the different parts of the brain, they perform different functions in our body. Isn't it? Like now, for example, we have a part of the brain that helps us in the sense of self-control. That part which helps you, if I was telling you, let's do what, for example? If I was telling you, let's sneak from the evening preps. Let's not attend the evening preps. Or let's sneak out of the school compound. Or let's go and smoke. Or let's go and do something that is against the school rules. If you have been using a lot of the drugs and the substances, one of the functions in your brain that gets impaired, and by impaired here I mean that get destroyed, and that makes it very difficult now for that part of the brain to function in a normal way after that. It is that part of the brain that helps in regulating or in helping you to say no or to self-control because of that damage. Now, when that is impaired or destroyed, then you become the kind of a person now thereafter. You cannot think through things very clearly. You don't even have the ability to say no because your brain cannot think and your brain cannot tell you that, no, Margaret, say no, the thing that you're about to do is dangerous or it is not the right thing to do because that part is destroyed. I don't want to use the word dead because it is not entirely dead, but it is destroyed. It does not do what it is supposed to do. Then the other thing we need to remember about whatever disorders or mental disorders or whatever problems that come with drug abuse, that one, they are both preventable and number two, they are treatable. All forms of addiction, drug addiction, they are preventable and they are treatable. And the other thing we need to remember is that the moment you become a drug addict, it impacts on one, your normal day-to-day functioning. Let's talk about you as a student. What are the things that you do on a normal day-to-day? What is the life of a student? What do they do on a normal day-to-day? Ni sweet zimeisha ama ni energy level ama ni njaa imeingia ama ni mmekuwa complicated? What are the things that students do on a normal day-to-day? Reading, everything, studying and learning. What else? Ni hiyo tu students wanafanyanga? Kuna duties za shule, si ndio? Engaging in co-curricular activities. Anything else that students do? Hakuna kazi ingine? Ni kusoma na co-curricular na duties za kuosha. Some they are graduating from cleaning the toilets. Mnajua mna time mamono wakuje, si ndio? Na kuclean hizo ma corridors na hizo kazi ngumu zenye monos wanafanya, si ndio? You can't wait to open, so that other people can do that. What about interacting with the others? What about concentrating? What about paying attention? What about being alert? Are those not normal day-to-day things that students do? That you need to be alert in school? You need to concentrate? Isn't it? You need to interact with your peers? And what happens with substance abuse? One, it impacts significantly on our ability to perform our day-to-day duties and activities. So for a student who is under substance abuse, they can't concentrate, their attention span is reduced, it is impaired, it also affects their thinking. So things they would otherwise do without too much effort, they can't do them. It also impacts on their decision making capacities or abilities. It also impacts on your relationship with your peers. You're likely to have a lot more fights. Why? Because chances are that for you to satisfy your drug habit, you need to look for money. You don't have the money, so you do something that will give you money, and the something you do is likely not to be the best of the things that you should do. Maybe you've picked someone's sweater, jacket, or something and sold a book, done something, stolen someone's money, and that kind of a thing. And then it also impacts on our relationship with our parents and our caregivers. And when all these areas or different sides of us are impacted, then that's when we are saying you are not operating at your optimum level. So why do adolescents take drugs? Let's hear. Why do they do it? Not you guys here. There are people here who have not answered. Sijui tutawaacha hapa lunchtime. Tuwafanyie nini? Wenye hawajasema kitu. Can I see different hands? Why do adolescents take drugs?
Some people say that when you take, for example, bang, you drink it.
I really like that. That some people say when you take bangi, yani masomo inaingia yote. You read a lot more. To fit in certain groups. Due to peer influence. To have fun. Satisfy curiosity. The environment you're in. To be like your friends. Any other reason? Yes, Maureen? To reduce stress. Is there any other reason? Yes. Idleness. I like that. Lack of knowledge about what? Drugs. So we are saying they don't know they're bad. Some don't know. Yani wako clueless. Formless. Hawajui kabisa. Wanakuanga formless namna hiyo. Like they have no clue that drugs are bad. But let me ask you. He says, so that you can read. Is that true or false? Is that true or false? Why is it false? Why is it false? Because we need to be very clear about the things that we are talking about. The reason you're told to take is because you're going to stay alert, isn't it? And you're going to read for many hours. So you take. So why are we saying it is false? Is it because we don't smoke marijuana here, so we think it is false? Or why are we saying it is false? Yes.
What I know about bang, it gives you that sense of your high hallucinations. Then there's no way, like I'm reading a science, then I'm seeing somebody walking on the air, and then you tell me I'm going to concentrate on the book.
There's no way. Why is it false? Kwanza wacha tuseme hiyo ya marijuana hapo, wacha tuimalizie hiyo story hapa.
It is because when you take bang, your normal body function is altered with, and you cannot concentrate.
But then, are there people who when they smoke it, wakisomea hiyo exam ni bas? Have you seen them? Have we seen? Let's be real. Wachani tuongee tu ukweli hapa, the things that you guys have had. Maureen, are there people who behave like when they smoke that bangi wanakaa chonjo yani? Are they there? So you think it works for them? Uh-huh. What do the rest of us think it doesn't work? Let me give you a story of um, my brother was in school with a guy. I will not name the school. So when they were doing their KCSE, no, they were doing the mocks at that time. So this guy had been told that story of wacha tu ukivuta tu slim moja hiyo usiku hiyo bio tutasoma. Huh? We will read until morning, and let me tell you ndio utashika. So there were 4 guys who were smoking. So one of them, immediately they got into the exam room. He looked at the bio paper. He had smoked the night before. He looked at the bio paper. Let me tell you, the next thing the school knew is that he had jumped out of the window. What is it that happened? One, aliangalia hiyo biology paper 2, akaona ni kama exam yote ya mock in one paper. And then he asked, am I supposed to answer the whole? Aliona CRE, akaona geography, akaona history, aliona hata chem na physics in that one bio paper 2. Bangi limwambia nini? Shup, uishie. He jumped out through the window. For whatever reason, the other 3 guys they were smoking with, walika class. And they did bio. And they passed. But let me tell you the truth about Bangi, because I know you're going to hear these stories. And I know you are also going to hear stories about some mad Kenyans, and I call them mad Kenyans, who are really pushing the agenda. Na najua mumesikia hiyo story. Ati wanataka kufanya Bangi ikue legal. Let me tell you, do that at your own risk and send yourself to the grave. As a mad woman and as a mad man. The issue about drugs is not the short-term effects. The issue about drugs is the long-term effects. It is not short-term. It is long-term that comes over continued use. You may smoke that cigarette today, a half of it, and you feel like you're feeling really high and very good. We don't care so much about what you're feeling right now. We care about 1 year from now, what is the damage that smoking will have done to your system. And let me tell you, Doctor, I'll give you a chance. And let me tell you, that first puff is what makes you addicted. It is the first puff. If you never take the first puff, you will never be addicted. Because it is from the first that you want the second. And that you want the third. And the fourth. It is the first sip of alcohol, no matter how bitter it tastes or how sweet it tastes, that makes you addicted. So you get cheated today that you will read. And you know what will happen the next time you are doing chemistry? You will want to smoke again and think that you can read the whole night. And the next time you are doing physics, you will get cheated that you want to smoke so that you can read for physics the whole night. Are we together? And the next time it will be geography. And the next time it will be something else. And let me tell you, worry about the long-term effects. Yes, Doctor.
I just wanted to add something. Sorry. I want us to do a small experiment, just as Madam Margaret has told us. If I throw this pen up, what will it do? Whatever you do, whatever goes up, whatever goes high, it will do what? Eventually come down. You will be cheated that these drugs will make you go high, but you'll still come down. You'll still come sober. It's just like drinking alcohol or any other drugs. It will just be for a moment, just like our pen has gone up high, but it will still do what? Come down. Because there's the force of gravity and there are all these life issues. You'll be cheated, yes, you'll read for this exam. It will go up, but you'll always come what? Down. And you'll even feel worse and even more terrible than you felt before. The other thing is that, Madam Margaret, we are saying, the other thing is that these drugs are not cheap. I'm telling them, these drugs are not cheap. And at your level, you are students. Where are you going to get this money to buy this drug? You're going to steal and indulge in other illegal activities. And we are already calling them illegal drugs, meaning you can be arrested. You're not only destroying your body, you're not only destroying your life and your parents' and your relatives' life, but you're also at risk to go to jail. There is juvenile jail. Hautasema because you're 18 years and below, you'll not go to jail. You will be arrested. I know of people who are in juvenile jails. They've been sentenced for having that illegal drug. So don't think because they are being sold in the streets, they are not illegal. They are illegal. And there is the Kenyan law. You'll be arrested. Other than destroying your life, your destiny, and we were told in the morning that we have a purpose and a concept of our lives. Sindio, everyone is... so that purpose and concept, and all of you are above average student. Why do you want to spoil it in one day or in one incident of just smoking something? And you're already bright students. Why do you need that other thing to make you perform better? Yes? So remember, whatever goes up or high must come what? Must come down.
How does you, because the reasons we hear are to feel good, to feel better, to do better. We said it is the out of peer influence that we are calling the social pressure. And then you're also talking about curiosity and experiment. So tell me, how does marijuana make you feel good? Let's talk. What kind of good? Yes.
I think something like marijuana makes you feel bad, not good.
One reason is to feel good. So let's see which part of this that is feeling good is the head, the legs,
You know,
nose, the heart, which
you can sit in class, but you are seeing one teacher as 1,000 of them. You know, you lack concentration even.
Sasa hiyo ndio feel good. Maureen, hebu tueleze hii feel good ni nini wanasema?
There's this time when you have not taken the drug, maybe we say like bang, you are somewhere, you didn't carry the bang to take, so that time you are feeling uncomfortable, you are feeling things which are maybe yeah, there's that feeling you feel, but when you take it, you become high, and now you are able to do the thing that you are about to do, but when you have not taken it, you are unable to do the task.
So, is that the feel good? Okay, so let me ask. So, juzi was Christmas, sindio? Yesterday was Boxing Day, sindio? So, you had a good meal. Whatever we ate, kikula chapo. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? KFC. Okay. Haya. Ukikula KFC unafilanga aje? Good. So, is the feel good of KFC the same feel good of bangi? So it's the same. That's what we are saying. Is that what it does? So it makes you feel like you've eaten KFC. That kind of feel good thing that we are talking about. What happens? Remember we said it will give you this high. Takes you up on this cloud, this level. But as soon as you get to that level, you will come down. Don't worry so much about the feel good. Worry so much about the coming down. Because the coming down is where the effects are felt. The coming down is where the damage is. And the coming down is what will push you to another dose in order for you to feel whatever it is that you're telling us is the feel good. Are we together? It's part of the assignment I want us to do.
Effects of peer pressure. That was the question. Peer pressure is the influence we get from the people around us. We have positive effects of peer pressure. It helps us to interact with others, help us to establish relationships, help us to value trust. Peer pressure enables us to shape our destiny, and it also helps us to determine our independence. That is, helps us to make choices on our own. We also have negative effects. Peer pressure can lead us to drop out of school. It can also lead us to practice drug abuse, immoral behaviors, and also distort our abilities, since we most of the time we take part in doing things that are not really important, and we forget about our abilities. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Can we appreciate that group? So then from them we are seeing that there is positive peer influence and there is negative peer influence. So this is the assignment. This is your individual assignment. You don't need it to, I want you to write the questions, then you're going to answer it later tonight, yeah? And this is not about your neighbor, it's about you. It's a follow-up of what we've been doing this morning. And question number 1, or assignment number 1, write down 3 things that make you more vulnerable to peer influence and drug and substance abuse. Write down 3 things that make you more vulnerable to peer influence and drug and substance abuse. Three things that make you more vulnerable to peer influence and drug and substance abuse. And then question number 2. Are we there? Question number 2. Write down 5 things you will do to withstand peer influence. Write down 5 things that you will do to withstand peer influence. Write down 5 things that you will do to withstand peer influence. And remember, this is not general. This is you as a person, individually. We are not looking at it in general. We are looking at it as you as an individual. So number 3. Bado. Write down 5 things that you will do to withstand peer influence. Haya, sasa tumemaliza ile kona. Marini, hiyo kona tuko sawa? Haya, number 3, which is the final one. Write down 5 things you will change about yourself to become a better, stronger, and more focused person. Write down 5 things you will change about yourself to become a better, stronger, and more focused person. 5 things that you will change about yourself to become a better, stronger, and more focused person. To become a better, stronger, and more focused person. And in that number 3, what we are asking is, what are some of the things about you that you're willing to change or to drop? Maybe things that don't make you have not made you a better person. Maybe things that have not made you a stronger person. So what are those 5 things that you think you need to change so that you can become a better person? Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to write them on that card that we have given you. You will write your name at the top. You will write your school, where you go to, and then you're going to write the question, and write, if it is 3 things, write 3, minimum of 3. You can write even 10, as many as you want to write. Then question number 2, then you write the question, and then you write all those things that you need to write. And then question number 3, you do the same. You write the question and you write them. And I want to see them tomorrow first thing in the morning. So that card must bear your name. So immediately you come in, the first thing you do is hand in that paper. Are we together? Haya, sawa.